This week we will be discussing NFTs and video games, or is it video games and NFTs? I'm Keys, this is the CryptoBytes, and welcome to NFTs with Keys. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell for all that news you need. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We're going to be doing something a little different. Instead of my normal show, we're having a round table. I have the CryptoBytes Podcast with us here.
Excited to be here.
Yep, thank you. I got Rick and Rob. So what we're going to be talking about is NFTs and gaming, or gaming and NFTs. And at the end, we'll kind of get to that. So right now, what I'm seeing is NFTs have been changing, the art world. And so, and clearly the gaming world is kind of, teasing that they want in on this. And so how can NFTs shape gaming or the gaming industry?
Well, speaking from zero experience in any of this,
yeah,
I can tell you that it's coming. It has to come. It has to come.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. But how can
here's my take on how it can change the gaming landscape.
Yeah.
It will give a justification for developers to monetize stuff that could only dream about monetizing now, but couldn't because they didn't have a justification for it.
Okay.
When you say it like that, you're not wrong.
I'm looking at you, EA.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think the way that NFTs is going to change gaming is I do think they are going to change gaming. I just think it's going to change gaming into creating a new genre of the gaming industry. Kind of how there's RPG, there's first-person shooters. There's MMO RPGs and stuff like that. I think there's going to be a whole subsection of gaming, and it's going to be called NFT games. How that will take shape will be interesting to see, especially considering all we see right now with NFT games is like Axie Infinity, their success story.
Success story. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
What do you mean?
It's true.
It's true. They uplifted a whole country during the pandemic.
Oh, come on. I uplifted a whole country.
The Philippines were able to survive the pandemic because of this.
And this to me, like that can no way be the future. It's not sustainable.
No. It's not gonna be the future in the sense of uplifting a whole country.
No, I get that.
But what we're gonna have
play
games.
to earn model. It's gotta, in order for the NFT to succeed in the gaming industry beyond being something like Axie or like a fad type thing.
Yeah.
It would have to be something that's bigger than pay to earn. Like it would have to be something bigger than pay to earn. Pay to earn's it's not sustainable.
It's play to earn.
Oh,
but yes.
The subconscious of playing to earn is true for play to earn because. By the way, Axie Infinity is a free game. I suggest you guys go download it. Go download Axie Infinity and tell me how play to earn this really is.
Okay, it is Axie Infinity is kind of a pay-to-play game because you have to pay about $3,000 to $6,000 to just kind of get anything going. So, but my thing is what I'm seeing in the gaming industry, or I guess at least the crossover between NFTs and games, is the further use of NFTs outside of skins, because that's the easy thing to jump to.
Yeah, that's the low-hanging fruit.
That's the low-hanging fruit with it. So it's like is the gaming industry going to utilize NFTs outside of that? Like the way I thought about it would be in role-playing games and RPG games. That comes down to a whole nother thing. If you're buying the game, do you get an NFT for free? So and again, I think that's something that but I think the gaming industry needs to focus on too, is if they're going to do an NFT game, is there a barrier to entry like Axie Infinity? Because Axie Infinity, you have to have 3 Axies to even get going to do anything.
Just to get past the title screen.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So right there, before the game's free, but it's going to cost you a lot to even get set up. But could you imagine, like a Final Fantasy game where you buy the game and sure you spent $80 and let's say it's an open world multiplayer game,
right?
Like 14 is, I think it's 14, and then so with that but what your starting character is an NFT, and then everything else you get in the game is an NFT. So you could sell it to other people in a potential like market in the game or even out of game on their own kind of marketplace.
In all reality, when I think of something like a Final Fantasy, if I'm going to make NFTs in a game like that, I wouldn't make the main character an NFT. I'd make the main character the wallet, really, and then everything else is interacted with the wallet. Like everything else in the game's probably an NFT.
So wait, okay. So the wallet, but would you be able to customize the wallet?
Inventory. Well, yeah. You can make your unique identifier, which is your wallet here. I'll give you modifiers for that. Sure, 7, 10, 15 modifiers. Make you look like whatever you want. Seriously.
Well, I think going to Keys' point here, like what would the games look like? I think it would just look like games today, except they'll slap on the NFT brand on the upper right hand corner, bright red and yellow verbiage to get your attention on it. And how it would work, think of how PlayStation Home was back in the day, this giant overworld where you have an avatar and you play the game, you get NFTs, maybe you unlock achievements. Achievements are NFTs in themselves that unlock special attributes for your avatar model in this metaverse overworld walled garden environment.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad idea in general, to be honest. Like that doesn't sound so much like
now you
a
just
giant
slap on the entry.
I think what Rob's trying what Rob's alluding to, what he's posturing here is that it's just going to be the same AAA title you know and love, except now they found a way to create more microtransactions.
Yes.
Like they found a way to put a microtransaction on your boots that they couldn't formerly do without it being called gambling. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I agree.
I agree with that now too as I think about it.
And I do agree that there are going to be some companies out there that do that. Yeah, I did say EA. They're going to do that. They will do that, especially for FIFA. Yeah, you want those new Pumas? Gonna cost you.
No. See, they're not malicious. They're not gonna NFT the Puma. No, they'll NFT the cleat that wears out in game.
but they would. Yeah.
It's for
like I said, they'll give a justification to try to NFT anything that they didn't have a justification for.
But at the same time, I do feel like there are some companies that wouldn't necessarily go that route.
Oh, there's some cool ways of really thinking about this, I know we say this all the time, and I'm sure every YouTuber says it all the time when you're talking about NFTs and gaming. But Ready Player One, that's a real use case scenario. If you that whole scene when they're going through the store, you can buy something there. It can go into your wallet. You
also have people locked in cages too.
Listen,
boxes.
I don't. There's nothing I can do with what cryptocurrency does to this weird metaverse. If meta-slavery's a thing,
And going back to Axie Infinity, you basically have a sweatshop of sorts, maybe a plantation. They call it a scholarship.
By the way, we're looking for people to run the plantation. I've run the Axies for a while.
Oh man, I think we got a little way off topic there, but
it does. It's Pandora's box.
No, it really is, but it also too. We can't just focus on the negative, of some slavery. Post-apocalyptic world.
Is there slavery? Yes. Did it raise a country out of poverty? Absolutely. There's definitely some slavery. There's definitely some slavery.
Did the ends justify the means? I don't know.
No. What are you guys doing? No.
Sorry.
What are you talking about right now? Yeah. What?
NFTs in games.
Positive for the world.
Yeah, I mean, but still, sure, that could be a route. As you said, it is a Pandora's box. A bunch of stuff is going to come out of that. Will it be bad? Sure. There's going to be some companies, not saying EA is completely evil, but they're the ones that will probably look at this and we can just slap a label and start charging things that we couldn't charge before anymore. Now we can. But my guess is they'd have to develop a new game. I don't think they're going to be able to throw that tag to FIFA. Because you're talking about a game that's internationally big.
You're
it's one of the biggest games in the world, and there's countries that game is in that game even now had to stop doing loot boxes because it's gambling.
Maybe we should take a step back. I personally don't think any game that's going to be utilizing NFTs, short of creating these moments that are currently available in NFT form, right? Actually having them implemented in a game, you're not going to see them use the Ethereum blockchain. You're not going to see them use anything like that. They're going to be using their own blockchain.
You run into some Pokemon out in the wild, it costs you $300 just to battle it, just to
catch
throw your Pokeball.
I need to run away. I can't run away. The gas fees are too high. I'm stuck.
You gotta kill it or make it faint.
I don't think it would work on Ethereum too.
You know what would be interesting though is to see a game like Pokemon Go. If they are able to implement NFTs in that sense, because imagine if you were or use the AR technology where you're able to walk around and then you do see a wild Pokemon and then you are able to go throw a ball for not $300, but you know what
they'd
I mean?
like to be $300 a ball if they could get away with it.
But you know,
probably retail from the market at like $10, but the gas fees are just insane.
It's $340.
Listen. We're only charging them 15 cents per ball. How much lower can we get? It's the gas fees that are getting them, guys. You don't understand.
But to rein it back in though, so it would be interesting to see some type of development of AR games like that, where you could catch something in the wild. So imagine if you went to a nature center, a nature reserve, or a park of some sort, and you can go and then catch Pokemon there. And when you catch them, sure, maybe it's not a Pokemon game. It's probably going to be something more along the lines of Axie, where or something like that, or a little, creature monster thing, But it would be interesting to see AR technology utilized with an NFT game too. I think that might be a way that NFTs and emerging technologies can utilize, gaming.
I'm more of a glass half full type
pessimist.
Look at this. There's no reason there's no reason for them to give you an excuse to go outside your pod.
Yeah.
Why would they want you running outside in the daylight, sucking that sun rays,
sweet vitamin
right?
D.
When they can keep you in your pod with the metaverse goggles on yourself and keeping attracted that.
And that's honestly, when you think of it that way too, I can see that happening because, blockchain's going to be the next big thing. Cloud computing was the past 10 years. Blockchain's this next decade, right? And everyone's going to want to jump on board to this blockchain. Everyone. And so much so that it's going to be so commonplace that companies are going to want to separate the cryptocurrency itself from the blockchain to get people hooked on the blockchain. That way, all the stigma that Bitcoin and ETH and all of that has is just on that, and it doesn't interfere with this new blockchain, right? And with that is
fancy
going to
word for a ledger.
NFTs, right? NFTs are going to have to come into play. Every gaming company, there's going to be a company that hits the nail on the head on how to do NFTs. Yeah. I think the questions we should be asking is, how do we implement the NFT in the games that we know and love right now? If we think of it that way,
we're trying to answer that for the past 10 minutes.
I'm sure we can come up with exactly how it's going to be. Think of it this way: Street Fighter. How do we NFT a Street Fighter game?
It would be skins, but how do you do it outside of skins?
Yeah.
So, but again, I think a fighting game is the hardest one to do.
So I think it could be
this is what it would be. Like I said, it would be achievements or something for you to put on your overworld avatar character when you're interacting in the spatial 3-way.
Yeah, but that also I do agree. I think that's how it'd be. There's probably going to be an Xbox metaverse, PlayStation metaverse, and then those NFT games where then you could use that and go into a market and see other people, and it's like, oh, you got Ken's gi, so you beat this level at this or whatever.
Sounds a lot like Ready Player One, doesn't it?
It really does sound a lot like Ready Player One.
But that's if you want to talk about it in that way. But just in general in the game, not in an outer a metaverse of a larger space that way, but in game, the NFT itself, a fighting game is going to be hard. It'd kind of be like League of Legends. It's going to be really hard to do it that way.
Well, it would definitely depend on what the genre of gameplay is, and then it would limit to what you can do with NFTs there.
What if we're thinking about this all wrong? What if it's not? What if it's more about complying with a company that redefines what the metaverse is. Like, what if Meta takes off, right? Just like Facebook was the king of single sign-on for a while, like a minute, right?
Yeah.
What if they're like the king of the metaverse? So
you're able to interact with multiple chains.
Hear me out. So like if they successfully do it, right, and they're the ones that are king of the metaverse, then these games, they don't have to. Their NFT can merely be something that can be validated through Meta as a PFP. Like it would be just an NFT provided that's on Meta. Really, it's for a lot.
But that still goes to what he.
Sad future.
But that still goes to what he was saying. So that metaverse and any kind of game that could be tied. So you never know. Take-Two or EA could do a plan with Facebook or Meta and do something like that. But that comes still to the outer metaverse world, and that's not necessarily in game. Like, what about a game like The Last of Us? How would you implement that? That game's not an online game for the most part.
Right.
So
I see what you're saying.
So it's like in that game, or even a Ghost of Tsushima, not the online version, but just the game itself. So how would you be able to implement?
Would you want
NFTs?
to? So like, I guess if you did that, then the NFT would have to be like an internal blockchain in the game. And it would have to be something that like is only inside the game. Like, it would be something that's super nerdy.
No. I'm not saying you couldn't.
Like
I'm not saying you.
in the game.
But I'm not saying you couldn't take it out and then do the larger metaverse, thing with it. I'm not saying that you couldn't do that. But in the game, like, what would be what would you make in the game that would be the NFT? And that to me, that's getting to my point of that. I think this is where we're not going to be looking at a new version of, it's not going to be, Ghost of Tsushima 2 or whatever, and it's going to have NFTs in it, or a Last of Us 3 with NFTs in it, or a Halo whatever with NFTs in it. There might be NFTs based off of those games, which that's different. But what I think comes down to me thinking that the NFTs in games is going to create its own genre. But now, how in those games would you utilize that? And the only type of game I can think of that would be able to utilize that is RPG games.
Or like Rob said, it would be like, it would all just be like the Xbox achievement points.
Yeah, no, but that's those are other things too. But I'm talking about the individual games. Like, what kind of games would they be? Honestly, I don't really see too much. Fighting games. It's hard to do that in the game without it just being skins, because that's what, again, we're talking about, not being skins.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a way a game would more or less be dictated by the NFT. Like how would like a game function? Like, the NFT is a core component of the game.
Yeah.
So you'll have your,
which would be
it'll be a subgenre. It will be games with NFTs and NFT games, and in the NFT games, you can have like a resource game. Maybe you go mine a planet or something.
Oh,
and,
you know what?
And
So
you
it's
get
just
a
gonna be mobile
resource.
games.
Maybe you have a team like XCOM or something. Where your team has stats and you send them out for a mission.
It's going to be like Farmland or stuff like that. More
I think in the beginning
it'll be the war table from Draenor.
But we also got to remember, studios have announced that they're developing plans or are developing already NFT games. Like Ubisoft mentioned it, Take-Two mentioned it, EA mentioned it. So it's like we know EA is probably going to go the route to try to make the most money and maximize their profits. Ubisoft. Again, I still want to see a Splinter Cell game. If it has to be an NFT game, please, Ubisoft, make it.
Yeah, Splinter Cell.
I'm going to hound you on this every time I talk about it. But how could you even revamp a Splinter Cell game to do that? It would have to be a role-playing game, maybe in a massive multiplayer open world style thing, so other people can have. And it's like, sure, some NFTs might be better, but they're going to be tiered, nonetheless. So there's still like, sure, one NFT might be better than the other, but that's normal even in a game.
It'll be Diablo, because that's what it is. It's a giant slot machine with drops, and every drop is unique.
Yeah, and yeah, sure. But like those NFTs, like with that game, a lot of those NFTs would be worthless, but then they would still, and again, like a lot of those NFTs would be worthless because they would be dropped so much. But it's
true. But I think
because still, even if whatever you sell to a market, new players who don't have stuff might buy that stuff regardless, and it's still going to be purchased from you, just like with OpenSea. So it's like, sure, someone goes on there, I want this NFT, boom. It's not like the person sold it straight to that person. They just found it, bought it, and you get the money. So that's a way that a game...
Would these companies be like open to that?
No, I don't know.
3,
I don't know.
right?
We're just speculating on this.
They shut down the online auction house. They shut down trading between people, so it's all just like a single player game.
I think a lot of that shutting down still is because, like, you're right, it is a lottery. So then in certain countries that's considered gambling. So but now if you do this with an NFT game and you're playing and you're earning, it's not really, you're like gambling at that point. It wouldn't be considered the same as gambling because you're able to earn money for not doing anything.
Like Pachinko, you're just earning
Yeah,
balls,
little
steel balls, and then you go next door, and that's where you turn them in for the good stuff.
So, sure, yeah. I mean, essentially,
wrong.
Wrong. But that's where I think that, you know, the way some of these studios would be able to develop games that are something that we know and love with a video game that doesn't look like a mobile style game or or a game where you just send out a crew to a planet and come back in 24 hours and hope he made money.
You have to buy NFT bullets and grenades in between each round of Counter-Strike.
That would be too much.
The game that hits the nail on the head is going to change everything. Like all esports, all everything will be whatever this game looks like.
Yeah.
And I really don't think, if we're talking about games and NFTs, right?
Yeah. Then
that game is going to reign supreme. But NFTs in games, that's just going to be a money grab. And like that's it. I think it's just going to be a bunch of moments.
Yeah, and that kind of does come down to the last question. Like, is it NFTs in games or games and NFTs? And I think there is a both. I think it is both. And kind of like how you said, I do think they are going to create different things where it's NFTs in games, NFT games, and then just NFTs tied to a game.
You're going to be able to tell the difference between an NFT game and a game with NFTs.
Yeah, exactly. But what I think really it's going to come down to is NFTs inside of games is a good... I think it's a good thing, and it can be a good thing, but games in the NFT space could be bad for the gamers in games. Well, because you might end up again with like that EA kind of situation where, you know, games are like the gaming industries in the NFT industry or in the space just to kind of suck as much money as they can because they know that that space is creating billions of dollars.
They could be both, you know what?
No, but that's what I say. I do think it's both. I think in the short run, what we're going to see popping up really quick is games entering NFTs to try to get as a cash grab to get as much money as they can, and then you're going to see some of these AAA and AA and some other indie studios make NFTs or make games that incorporate NFTs. So NFTs in games. And then that happens, that's going to further, and like you said, that is going to be the future of gaming.
It's also a good funding mechanism for esports.
Oh, dude, exactly. When you say funding mechanism,
that died out 5 years ago.
The first thing that comes to my mind when you say esports, if we throw NFTs into esports, let's say League of Legends, right? Huge and popular. Yeah. If we NFT every item on every character, even the character during selection, right? Then you could NFT the moment, right? And then you could sell that moment, and then you could individually sell the other NFTs. Do you want one of the 5 items that so-and-so had? Here's the NFT. You could sell. Oh god.
Well, that goes also beyond too, because remember there's that NFT marketplace that sells Twitch moments. So imagine if that
moments in gear, like, oh yeah, look, I own the roaming boots from Jinx.
Yeah. So, but what's crazy too is like if this actually does happen, that does how esports goes. Those are going to be the highest paid athletes in all of the world.
Well, what happens in the auction world, like pawn shops? Could I pawn away my?
NFTs?
Man.
Yeah.
Can I pawn my NFTs?
I mean, NFTs are going to shape a lot of different industries, so it's going to be interesting. They've already
the best I can do is $1.
It's like how
I'm an expert. Hold on, let me get him over here.
Let me see your ledger.
It's like how NFTs, like how I said at the top of the show, how NFTs have changed the art world, and now they're going to be changing the gaming world. And as you just brought down, the vast ripple effect that it's going to have, even in, like you said, if this does take over and NFTs do become more of a household name and they become what everyone sees, you're going to end up with pawn shops, shortchanging you on your NFTs. Shit, they might even charge you $300 for gas.
Right.
Also, they're going to make a profit.
We don't know what it's going to look like because the market's so volatile. So you're going to need to assume that there's a $500 gas fee built in. You're only giving me $5. Hey man, I'll make these offers.
Yeah. So, but so again, going back to that last question, NFTs and games or games and NFTs, I truly think that it is both. It's going to be the games and NFTs in the beginning. That's going to be the cash grab. And then you're going to start seeing these, bigger studios making games that incorporate NFTs, and they're going to, want to try to create that as a genre in gaming. And as we've said, the esports is probably set up for that, and they'll make a lot of money doing that. So I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. So yeah, I mean,
yeah, you're probably right. Honestly, that at this point, really, at the end of the day, developers are going to have to figure out a way to make it work. So I'm excited to see the options that come out of it. But yeah. I'm not a big fan with what we have right now. It's like Axie Infinity doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So if that's the future of NFT games, or if that's just one subsection of what it's going to be, then I look forward to seeing what they can do with it. But I'm also not a big fan of these moments things.
Imagine the Gathering would love this NFT concept, because they've been trying to make more money on the secondary market.
If you do it, Magic,
by raising their prices of their card decks. Imagine the Gathering NFT where whoever controls Magic the Gathering, I don't know what company's behind it right now, but they get a commission every time that card is sold. That'll make them happy.
Yeah. Yeah,
so put it like, or even like the NFTs, like this is the exact card that won the tournament.
No. But at the end of the day, it does sound like NFTs are going to be entering gaming. We don't know how it's going to turn out. It's probably going to be somewhat malicious in the beginning, or maybe throughout, and it might be more altruistic, trying to help gamers to get more money by playing games. Maybe helps esports. You never know where it's going to go. We don't know. And, so thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Rob, for helping me with this episode. It's a little special episode. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And also go follow us on our socials. I'm on Twitter at NFTs with Keys. They're at Argyros Crypto. Go like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing recently. We love you. Keep commenting, keep sharing these videos with everybody. They also have a stake pool.
Ticker AGC.
For Cardano. So if that is something you want to do, it should be what you want to do. So go help us. Thank you again. Deuces.
Vegetables. Here I come from the west side.